Y'all ever changed the fifth wheel? Huh? Have you? I'm getting ready to. Got a brand new fifth wheel on the back of Jeep right here. Just went and picked it up. Came in, it took 2.5 weeks. They had to order it from Holland, but we're gonna kind of give you the rundown on it. All right, hang in there. If you ever done this before, comment below. Let me know how it went for you. All right, there's a new one right there. Of course, it's upside down. It'll flip over. When you get one though, from Holland anyway, of course they come with new bushings and pins and all that stuff, which is a good thing. So anyway, there it is. And I gotta get it from here to there. And I gotta get that one from there to here. So anyway, I'll show you as much as I can, but I gotta get this done because it's fixing to start raining. All right. All right, so like I said, fixing to take this fifth wheel off. If you've got slack, you know how when you go to take off or you stop or something like that, or you do a tug test when you hook up to a trailer and you got that little bit of slack, you feel the kingpin, you know, slide a little bit in the jaws. You can adjust the jaws. You've got on mine, this Holland right here, it has it's got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 on it, and the pin in the middle, let me turn this around, I'll show you. Pin right here under the wrench, you can adjust it. There's a way that you pull a cotter pin up under the fifth wheel. You have to tilt the fifth wheel forward, and you pull that up a little bit, and you can turn it and put it back down, and it essentially takes the slack out of those jaws. Well, mine it's already adjusted, and as many times as I can, and it's actually jumped the number 4, and it's already halfway back around to number 1. And so instead of, I got a few other things wrong with that fifth wheel too, but instead of just rebuilding it and all that stuff and just having a beat up problematic fifth wheel still with just a new rebuild kit in it, I opted to go ahead and put a new one on here. So the first thing I got to do is I got to take this nut and bolt off right here on the side, right here. Take those two, there's one on this side and one on the other side. Take them off, and then this pin right here has a cotter pin on the inside. I pull that cotter pin out, slide this pin out, and disconnect my air up here, and then this plate right here will just come right off. And I'll set this aside and get the new one and put the new one on and just reverse the process. All right, just so y'all know, you see this red stuff right here? I had changed these pins and the bushings in here a while back, probably a year ago, maybe a year and a half. And when I put these back on, I put red Loctite on there. And if you want to break that loose and not have so much of a problem, you take and heat that nut up a little bit in that bolt, and it makes it to where it'll come loose a lot easier. You may have to heat that nut and bolt up a couple of times, but that heat from that torch will make that red Loctite kind of loosen up. This is the passenger side. We got the nut and bolts off on both sides. That's what retains or keeps this pin in case something happens. So now, you see that cotter pin right there going up and down through that pin? We got to pull that, and then we can slide that pin out. And that's what I'm gonna do on both sides. You can see that one over there on that side too, just right over there by the edge at the end of my finger. There's one over there. Alright, I got the cotter pin pulled, and it's just as simple as that. Pull that pin out. The way I pull those cotter pins, I've got this pair of vice grips. As you can see, they're kind of half moon shaped or whatever. So it makes it easier to pull those cotter pins with a pair of vice grips like this. I mean, you can do it with a regular pair of pliers or needle nose, but this is just easier to me. So I'm gonna reach up in here, pull that pin, and I'll show you what I'm talking about when I pull it out. Hopefully this one pulls easy. All right. See how you can get a grip on that? And it's not coming out. And you just pull that cotter pin out like that right there. And then you pull that other pin, and basically your fifth wheel is ready to come off. I got to disconnect air lines up there, and that's it. We're ready to do this. So we'll get back with you in a minute. All right. So as you can see right there, we got the new fifth wheel on. Yeah, it was a chore. I'm not gonna lie to you at all. And I'm telling you right now, if you're gonna do this, you need to have some help, or have an engine hoist or an overhead crane, you know, some type of a lift or whatever, forklift, something like that. Because I can tell you right now, we did it all by hand, and it was pretty rough. But with me, my son, and my wife, we got it done. I would say it probably all together took us from start to finish, I'd say at least probably an hour, maybe hour and a half. You know, because like I said, we're doing it by hand, lifting it and everything like that, and just figuring out how to do it, and you know, what's going to be the best way to put it up on the frame and slide it up there, and then flip it over, and that's what we did. I'll kind of show you. Sorry I didn't get very much of it videoed, but you know, I had to get this done, and it's just one of them things. So I'll kind of show you what we did, kind of talk you through it a little bit, and you can get the idea. It wasn't that hard. Hang on. Okay, so you remember the fifth wheel, the new one was in here in the back of my Jeep on that pallet. And what I did was I turned it around where the ears right here were facing out. It was still upside down, you know, it was still with the plate down on the pallet, and we had it, like I said, with the ears pointing out, and we grabbed it there by the ears and by the front end of the pallet of the fifth wheel, me and my son, and we set it right up here on the frame rail, and then we just slid it right up here, and we got it up here. I put a 2x4 across there in front of that plate right there. I put a 2x4 across so that it wouldn't fall down in that gap, and we just stood it up on the end, on the ears right here. These were down on this plate. We stood it straight up and laid it right down on top of the travel plate. Now I will tell you this, if you put a new fifth wheel on, it's going to have new bushings in here. And those bushings being new, it's going to make these pins not want to line up. So what I did was I took my old pins and drove them into these holes first, because they had a little wear on them, and they actually drove in there, and then I, you know, and that caused the fifth wheel to suck down on those half moon bushings that are in there. Now yours may have different bushings than mine and all that stuff, but and then I pulled those old pins out, put the new pins in, and everything's peachy. So I put red Loctite on these again, and everything's good to go. It's on there, brand spanking new. You can see, just in case you didn't know, I'll show you what I was talking about as far as the adjustments. Where are we at here? All right, there we go. See, it's arrow right here, and there's a mark right here. That's the factory setting. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So when this thing starts developing a little bit of slack, I can tip this forward. I can tip the fifth wheel, you know, forward, and pull that little cotter pin up under there. And what you do is you lift this up and you clock it one turn and put it back down, and then put the cotter pin back through. And that should take your slack up. If that don't take your slack up and you still have slack, then you pull the cotter pin, you pick it up, and you clock it to number 2. And you just keep going until you get it to where there's no more slack, you know, in the jaws, in the locker. So, she is brand spanking new. No grease on there or anything yet. Show you too on Holland, on this one here anyway. They cut a groove out right here so that you can get a socket, a ratchet and socket on here, instead of having to take this out with 2 wrenches. That was a huge improvement. Being able to put a ratchet on here, or, you know, an impact. You know, you still got to do the bottom with a wrench, but being able to put an impact on here, or a ratchet and socket, makes a huge difference. So that's a good deal for Holland right there. I'm glad they did that. Okay, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I know, like I said, I didn't get very much video of us doing it, but it was taken, it took all 3 of us. I mean, it's just awkward angles, and, you know, if that fifth wheel weighs over 200 pounds. If that thing gets to sliding and gets out of control, it's gonna squish the shit out of somebody. And I can tell you right now, I don't want to be squished, and I did not want my wife or my son to get hurt either. So, if you guys do this, and it's something that you can do on your own with some help, of course. But if y'all choose to do this, keep your head straight. With this big stuff like this, just work safe. You know, work smart and work safe, and just protect yourself. Because I can tell you right now, that fifth wheel, it gets away from you, you're not going to be able to hold it. So anyway, like I was saying, you know, just work smart and be safe. This is the underside of my old one. The new one looks the same. That clocking pin to adjust the slack, this is what it looks like on the underside. You just pull that pin out, and like I said, you lift up and you turn it to 1, 2, 3, or 4. But this is the bottom side. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. And like I said, if I don't know, these are my old ones. I'm gonna keep these for just in case, and I'm gonna keep these old pins too and stuff. But that right there is gonna be going to the scrap yard. I'm just gonna haul it off tomorrow for scrap and just get rid of it. Otherwise, it'll be sitting around here for 10 years. But anyway, we are done. So, all right, y'all comment and let me know what you think about it. If it's something that you've done, if you had struggles and stuff like that. The only struggles we had were at the end when we were putting the pins in. Like I said, it wasn't lining up and everything like that, and I used a dead blow hammer, but you know, whatever you got, use what you got. That was only real, you know, other than just, you know, moving it around, awkward angles and all that stuff, but the only real setback we had was trying to get them pins in at the end and stuff. But leave me a comment. I want to know if you've done this or if you're gonna do it and stuff. And if you got any questions or anything, I know like I said, I didn't get very much video done, but if you got any questions, you know, I'm pretty quick about answering and stuff like that, and I will help you out, you know, no matter what, if I can. So y'all be cool. It's price. You're gonna get dirty too, I'm telling you right now. So just be prepared for that. So I'm out of here. Peace. I got to go 10-4.